Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
Let's begin. Okay. We are here on Daf Samach Zayin in the little note over here, the end of this parak on Akum Shabbos. A goy that we said the goy can't keep Shabbos. He's not shaykh to the Yisoda Chiddush. But because he's not shaykh to the Yisoda Chiddush, so he can't keep Shabbos. It's also for him to keep Shabbos. So here he brings that in the nusach of the tefillah that we say on Shabbos, we say this. We bring out these points. And we say in the tefillah, Lo nasato Hashem Elokeinu legoy aratzois. Hashem did not give Shabbos to the nations of the earth. V'lo hinchalto malkeinu lo'ivdei pesilim. Hashem did not give it as a nachala to the ones who are idol worshippers. Yeah, pesilim elilim. V'gam benuchaso lo ishkanu arelim. And also, the menucha he did not give to arelim. Right? There are three times he seems to say the same thing. Goy arot, artzot, oivdei pesilim, and arelim. 3 different times in the tefillah, same tefillah, in one line, where we say in our tefillah that Shabbos is not shaykh to a goy. So he says over here, Muzkarim kan shloshi inyonim. 3 ideas are brought down here. Nira shehem keneged vayechulu vayechal vayishboy. Like we discussed already, that in the psukim vayechulu, vayechal, vayishboy are the 3 different levels. The first vayechulu is that the world ended. Before saying who ended the world ended. The fact that the world ended itself tells you that it had to have a beginning. If creation was completed, it means it must have started. It must have started, it means there was something before. It wasn't there, it didn't exist. And therefore, Vayechulu is just the idea that there was a creation, Yesh Me'ayin. So that's the first one, Vayechulu, that's Vayechulu. Then Vayechal. Vayechal is now telling us who's the one who did it. Who is the one who's before? It's Hashem. Vayechal Elokim Bayom HaShvi. And then the third one is Vayishpois, that Hashem himself makes himself present in Shabbos. So we're going to bring out these 3 yisodas in these 3 words. So let's go down, let's do the first one, Vayechulu. Etzem hafsoka shel ma'aseh bereishis mara ala chidush. The fact that creation came to an end, like we just said, there must be somebody who did it. We know that the world was created from nothing. It's chadshut, it is brand new. This idea was not given to goyim. It says goye haratzos. Why does it call it goye, the nations of the earth? Because they are stuck in the world. They are stuck in Teva. And Teva, well, you said Teva doesn't change. Obviously, the wind blows this way, the wind blows that way. Every once in a while, you'll get an eclipse, right? But right, okay, but that's not Teva. That was definitely a nes. Right? That was definitely a nes. That wasn't Teva at all. If you saw the Ated today, you saw that Rav Dov Landau makes it very clear. Nobody should ever think that this was Teva. Yeah, so many weapons, very strong weapons.
I mean, of course, I'm saying out of Teva.
For sure, that's what I'm saying. That's why the goyim. You know what? There was recorded a phone call between President Biden and the heads of one of the Air Force, the American Air Force squadrons, and he's there. He's praising, what a great job you guys did. I'm so proud of you, right? It's not shaykh. It's not shaykh based on the amounts that the 99% that they got, and the 1% they didn't. What happened to that? It killed a few people in Jordan, and one Bedouin girl was hurt.
Damage
yeah.
Some damage in the north, but no injury.
Right.
It's
unbelievable. So what do we see? We see, wow, how great our Air Force pilots are, right? The president of Ukraine when he was condemning this attack, he said how they were victims of many of these same types of attacks, and they understand how horrible these things could have been if they would have reached their targets. They know, they experience what it means to have these things to reach them. So we understand that the goyim, the goya rotzois, they look at it as teva. They look at everything as just as teva. They can't understand the lamala min teva. They can't understand the koyach hachidush of yesh me'ayin, something from nothing. Teva is always here. Like we discussed last time, molecules and atoms, they might split, they might break up, but they never disappear. And you can't create atoms out of nothing. And that's why they're not shaykh. The goyer otzos, they're stuck in the teva. They can't understand what it means min lamala min teva. That's why they can't understand Shabbos, because obviously there's something lamala min teva. When it comes down to it, all of creation is certainly lamala min teva. And that's where they're stuck. They would rather say the most outlandish, crazy theories in order to try to explain how the world came into being, how life came into being. The most logical is the hardest one for them to accept. And that is, we don't understand. There's something bigger than us. There's something higher than us, a higher power that we don't understand, but we can accept that that's true. That they're not willing to do. It doesn't matter how crazy statistically for their ideas that could possibly come to fruition. The statistics are enormous, right? It's like 1 in, not 1,000, not 10,000, not 100,000. It's like 1 with like 70 zeros after it. Does that have a name even, that number? There's no name for it. It's all eternity. There's no 1 in that amount. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. But they can't accept the more logical, but harder for them, because you have to admit to a higher power that's not limited to teva, not limited to the laws of nature. That they can't accept. So that's the first one, vayechulu. That was not given to the goye ha'arotzois. Vayechal Elokim, the second one. Hainu kevan shidbar al yedei shvitas v'Shabbos. Shebehechrich hu sheyesh lo olam mechadash. Like we said, there has to be who did it? Hashem, the all-powerful. Nimsa al-korchoch gracious. It must be that he was first. He was before creation. Shu yizbarach beligvum. Beligvum, sheni she'ein oin milvado. There is no other power. There is no sheni. Hu rishoin ve'ein sheni. There is no, right? First of all, Hashem has no gvulot. Hashem can do whatever he wants. Second of all, there is nobody besides him. And third of all, that he is the king. And he is involved in the world. Nothing that happens in the world goes against him. How could there be existence at all? This is all the things that we've discussed over the last number of weeks. So that's what the pasuk says, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not give it lo yivdei pesilim to ones who believe in idols. The idol worshippers, they know that there are powers out there, so they worship those powers. But where did those powers come from? They came from Hashem. What, the sun is not a power? Of course it is. The moon isn't a power? Of course it is. Fire is not a power? Of course it is. There are powers in the world that Hashem created in the world. So why are you worshiping them? Why didn't you worship the one who created the powers? No, so this is it. They can't understand that. They can't understand that there's a power above all powers that has no limitations at all. All of these things, the sun, the moon, fire, water, all these things, all these have limitations. They're creations. So they worship those creations. They don't have a shaychus to something that is more powerful than all of those things. So that's why that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did not lo hinchalto malkeinu l'avdei pesilim v'zeu lo hinchalto malkeinu l'avdei pesilim, like we just said. Hainu kevan she'ein lahem et yisoid achidish, because they don't have the yisoid of Yesh Me'ayin. Ein HaKadosh Baruch Hu malkem ela malkeinu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not their melech. He's our melech. Ein HaShabbos nilchaltem ela nachlaseinu. The Shabbos is not their nachla. Shabbos is not shaykh to them. The ideas of Shabbos are not shaykh to them. They're shaykh to us. Eloheim oivdei pesilim ve'elilim. They worship these low powers. Hamarim al koichos tivi mishonim mishonim, that these powers have power over the natural world. About das eloikim ein lehem klal, they don't have an understanding of something that's on a higher power. Shirak kel mechadish oila mityaches amusag elokus b'muvan hanachon. Only the one who has the ability to create the whole world, that is what a real elokus is. Amnam, we'll finish up this parak now. Well, Pez Hashem will have enough time. We'll start the next parak. Amnam adayin kol ze eino hodro b'tifarta shel haShabbos kodesh mashi mara ala emes shel hametzius halokis shitachein ledas haemes gam b'li Shabbos kodesh. Because these ideas theoretically could all be true even without Shabbos. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world Yesh Me'ayin happened on the first day already. According to at least one measure, HaKadosh Baruch Hu created everything on the first day, and then on the other days He just placed them in their proper places. But everything, the Yesh Me'ayin was in one shot. Hashem created everything Yesh Me'ayin, but it was on the first day. So who says why should that be connected to Shabbos per se, right? And that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has no gvulos and has all powerful and everything. Why is that necessarily related to Shabbos? You can come to this understanding without Shabbos. What's the beauty of Shabbos? The glory of Shabbos? The fact that we stopped. The fact that we're resting. Not only are we recognizing that Hashem is all powerful, when we do, not just with our minds intellectually understand it, but with our bodies. Now we are stopping to work. We are showing we are not working because we know there's a creator. And He created the world in 7 days. And on the 7th day, He finished His work at the end of the 6th day, right? As it went into Shabbos, that was it. That was the end. A few last things to create on the Ben HaShmoshel's Erev and right before Shabbos started. And that's it. And then it stopped. And there was rest. Rest means the work was done. And we are stopping to work. We also, we're going to mimic Hashem. Hashem stopped work. We are going to stop work. And we are connecting to Hashem. And that's the Vayish Bois. This is very interesting. He's adding a side point over here, which is really not Nogea to Shabbos, but very, very much to Nogea, and a little bit of a side point away to Shabbos, but more to our connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have 3 oisios that we're connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shabbos is an ois, like we say, like in the Moshel. I forgot, maybe it was a Chavetz Chaim, I don't remember who said this Moshel. And it says that when you see a couple that they're having Shalom Bayis problems, how do you know they're still together? If the wife is still wearing the ring on her finger. But if she's taken the ring off, then we don't see the kesher. We don't see that she's a wife anymore. So that's the ring. That sign is Shabbos. If there's still Shabbos, you see that kesher. That's an ois. Shabbos is an ois. The other ois is tefillin. We're going to get to. I think there's going to be a parak on tefillin in the sefer. I believe, even if it's not. So then, there is Perek Vav in the next chelik. Tefillin is also an ois, so we bind ourselves, we tie ourselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And Bris Milah is physically we are connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We're placing Hashem's name on our bodies. That's a Dveikus Maise comes through Bris Milah. So he's mentioning this over here. Kiviyachol mikasharta et Yehudi Hashem Yisborach. Bidam nafsho mitziusu chaya b'tivim. A person with bris milah connects himself completely to HaKadosh Baruch Hu with blood. Et ze ein lehem legoyim arle basar v'arle leiv. They don't have this. An oral shows that he's separated. There's a separation between him and Hashem. That's what the arle is. It's a separation. V'gam mimenuchas lo yishkanu arelim. So the one who's already disconnected, he's an oral. He can't have Shabbos. He can't be connected to Shabbos because we're going to see starting in the next parak that there's a bris ava between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu through Shabbos. It's very interesting. I'm just going to add an extra point over here. There's a very interesting medrash. The Medrash says that when we were given the mitzvah bris milah, it was in order to complete, like we said over here, to complete the bond with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. How is that? So the Medrash says that every Jew, every Jewish man, and really it applies to the women also through their husbands, every Jewish man has the name of Hashem on him. How does he have the name of Hashem on him? The name of Hashem is Shakai, Shin, and a Daled, and a Yud. That's one of the Shemas of Hashem. Yeah, we see it. Yaakov Avinu cries out, Kel Shakai. And where do you see the Shin and the Dalet and the Yud? So the Medrash says the Shin you see on your nose. It's a Shin. The nostrils form a Shin. That's the Shin. The Medrash says this. Where's the Dalet? The Dalet is in your hand. So it's either this way or this way, depending on which way you're looking at it. There's a Dalet. Where's the Yud? The Yud is the Bris Milah. The Bris Milah, the Nazer Torah, or what they call in English, the coronal ridge, kind of like hooks in. That shows the Yud. So a person who has a Bris Milah has a Shem Hashem on him. And somebody who doesn't have a Bris Milah doesn't have the Yud.
Yud is revealed only after the brit?
Right.
Uh-huh.
So if you don't have a Bris Milah, you don't have the Yud. Then you it's Shin Dalet. It's not the best, yeah. Maybe that's a pshat that Abraham Avinu, they say that Abraham Avinu stands by the entrance to Gehenim and he sees if there's a Bris Milah, it doesn't let you go down to Gehenim. If a person doesn't have a Bris Milah, he can't recognize you. And the Mamela, that's what happens. So that's what being a mal and not being an oral is. Mamish will double to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have the shame of Hashem imprinted on us. Klal Yisrael amcha nasatu ba'ava. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave that. The rest of this is the rest of the tefillah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Shabbos ba'ava. Shemipnei hatzveikus b'dam b'nefesh yesh lahem. Because of this connection, right? Bris Milah came before Shabbos, even though historically, obviously, Shabbos of Bereshis was before anything. Before. I mean, it was after the creation of man, but it was before the rest of history, the history of the world. But in terms of mitzvahs, Bris Milah came first. The kesher between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu started with Bris Milah. It was the first mitzvah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Avraham Avinu, you have to do this mitzvah. He had other things, Lech Lecha. Yeah, you have to go there. But this as a mitzvah to be given ledoiros to your children. This is it. The mitzvah Bris Milah. And that's the kesher between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, going back to Adam Arishon. Going back to Avraham Avinu. So because of this dveikus, Oyavam HaKadosh Baruch Hu Abbas Tivis. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has this natural love for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Abbas Av Lebnoi, like a father to a son. Shei Abba Tivit. This is a very deep idea. What does it mean, Abba Tivit? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not Teva. So what does it mean, Abba Tivit? We're not going to get into it right now, but this is also the Dessler writes about. He actually says writes the opposite. By HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's not an Abba Tivit. I'm not going to go into the idea, different ideas of Abba, but obviously there's a very strong kesher between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lezera Yaakov asher bam bacharta sha'alav amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'li b'chor Yisrael. This is a very good segue into the next parak, that there's a very deep bond between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu through Shabbos. And it's really something, like if we try to take it a little bit more the Maisa, we discussed that working on our Amunah on Shabbos, working on our Amunah that HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world, and his Yesh Me'ayin, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do anything. Anything. There are no rules that limit HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Nothing. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did create a world. He did create Teva. He does want the world to run through Teva. There is such a thing called Mazel. I believe later on in this parak, maybe, or maybe the next parak. Yeah. In parak Zayin, not in this parak. In parak Zayin, he's going to be talking about Mazel. What's the purpose of Mazel? Mazel in English is translated as constellation. What? Not luck. Luck implies something random. This is not random. Mazel is means, people use it in Mazel Tov means congratulations, right? Which is like, we're happy for you. Something good happened to you, so we're happy for you. So, but that's really not what it means. Mazel tov means it's a blessing. We're giving you a bracha that you should have a good mazel, that this should be maybe a sign that you're going to have other good things happening to you. And we're blessing you should have other good things happening to you. But the idea of mazel is how HaKadosh Baruch Hu put into the world a certain mahaleth. But yet we say mazel tov. We say you're higher than that. You're even if your mazel is not necessarily good, it should be good anyway. What do you mean? You can't change what's there. So the answer is you can change what's there. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu can do anything. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is above Teva. He can do anything he wants. Like it says. What? Oh, but yet we say mazel tov. How could that be? That's why it says that Avraham Avinu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, told Avraham Avinu he's going to have a son.
Take whatever mazel you should have, it should be yoter tov.
It should be yoter tov.
Feeling better than whatever mazel you would have had.
So but also we can change.
Change for the better, like up.
That's why we said that Avraham Avinu saw his mazel. He saw in the stars, in the constellations, that he wasn't supposed to have a son. So it says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Medrash says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu took Avraham Avinu and put him above the stars. Whatever that means. We don't know what that means. He put it above. And he says, don't worry about what it says in the stars. It doesn't matter what it says in the stars. What you think, I'm limited. Don't worry about what it says in the stars. You have this mazel? Yeah, don't worry. And that's the way Klal Yisrael is also. We can change it. So now let's begin the next parak Vav, Bris Ava, which is really, we said, is a continuation of the previous parak. Because this is the other parak related directly to why is it that Klal Yisrael has this relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu through Shabbos, if theoretically the idea of Yesh Me'ayin, of creation, applies to all of creation. All of creation. Hashem created everything in the world. All human beings, all animals, everything. So the concept of Yesh Me'ayin applies to everything that exists. So if the concept exists to everybody, everywhere, so theoretically, anybody could have Shabbos, be connected to Shabbos. Now, we just finished explaining in the previous parak that HaKadosh Baruch Hu asered it to the goyim. He makes this aser. You are not shaykh to this because you don't know what it means. You don't know what it means to be Yesh Me'ayin. Now, just because we don't know what something means doesn't mean that we can't connect. We can't do it. There are a lot of things we don't understand. We do them anyway, right? There are all kinds of deep things involved in all the mitzvahs that we do. We don't necessarily know them, and certain ideas are very complex. So why? Okay, so the goyim don't have it, but maybe they could still be shaykh to it. So there's another aspect over here, and that's what this parak is about. It's about Bris Ava. It's about how Shabbos was given to Klal Yisrael as a gift to make that kesher with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And that's why the goyim were excluded from it. Because theoretically, technically, you could say that they're also shaykh to creation, but not only intellectually they can't conceive it, which is what we discussed in the last parak, but also there's something special about Shabbos. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved this thing in Shabbos, and he wants to make a kesher with Klal Yisrael. So this is what we're going to discuss in this parak. So let's begin. Yeah. That's already, that what I just said was already in the first paragraph, so we're going to skip to the second paragraph. Ve'emes kvar amru chazal, nahar Sambation yochiach ala Shabbos. We discussed this way in the beginning. The nahar Sambation, the river, the Sambation river, proves that there's Shabbos. Balaz oiv v'kivrei shoyim yochiach ala Shabbos. And also the necromancers called oiv and the graves of Rishoim prove that they're Shabbos. She'ein malin ashim Shabbos, because they don't give off smoke on Shabbos, and we said the Baal Oiv also, they don't have the ability to do their raising of the dead on Shabbos. Right? The essence of Shabbos, it's Shabbos for everybody. It's Shabbos for a river. It's Shabbos with the Rishoyim too. Right? It's Shabbos for Balei Oiv who aren't even Jewish. I hope they're not. Elohim Akifa et Kol Metzias. All of Metzias is Shabbos. It's Shabbos everywhere. Oh, some people are not recognizing that it's Shabbos, but it still is Shabbos. It doesn't matter that they're not keeping Shabbos, but it still is Shabbos because it's Zeichel Ma'aseh Bereishis. It's connected to all of creation. Ma'aseh Bereishis choivek as kol hametzias b'shava. Creation is equal by everybody. We were all created. V'lama im kein mufkoim kol kach ha'umos mimitzias Shabbos. Why are the goyim so removed from Shabbos? So this is the second aspect that we're gonna talk about. There are two aspects now he's going to introduce. We say Zeichel Ma'aseh Bereishis, right? But we also say Zeichel Yetzias Mitzrayim. Yeah, there are a lot of mitzvahs that are Zeichel Yetzias Mitzrayim, but not too many mitzvahs are both Zeichel Yetzias Mitzrayim and Zeichel Ma'aseh Bereishis. So here he brings down this idea in Ois Beis. Amnam mivur be'aseres hadibros shtei sibos l'Shabbos. In the Aseres hadibros, it brings two ideas by Shabbos. Be'hevdil shebein luchos rishonos leluchos shnios. What does it say in the luchos rishonos? Ki sheish yamim also Hashem es hashemayim es haaretz. Kodesh Baruch Hu created the world in 6 days. Al kein berach Hashem es yom haShabbos ve'yikadshehu. That's why Kodesh Baruch Hu blessed the Shabbos and made it holy, made it separate. Ubeluchos shnios ksiv v'zacharta ki eved ha'yisa be'eretz Mitzrayim. Al kein anuchi mitzavcha la'asoyis et hadavar zeh. Something specific to Klal Yisrael. We were avadim in Mitzrayim, and therefore Shabbos. Sheshnei inyonim yesh habrocha v'hakdusha shem etzem mahus haShabbos v'atzivui v'hamatana shel Shabbos. There are two things over here. There's the bracha and the kedusha, which is the essence of Shabbos. Like we said, vayechulu vayikadesh oisoi. That is the essence of Shabbos. The holiness of Shabbos is part of the essence of Shabbos. And that applies to everybody. Shabbos is holy because the Kodesh Baruch Hu made it holy from creation. And then there's a second aspect. There's a matana called Shabbos. Mahus Shabbos yimei ma'aseh bereishis. That's what Shabbos is. Creation. Ve'eina chanami miztzad ze eino nachalas Yisrael dafka. With regards to that, you could say it applies to everybody. The Metzias, the essence of Shabbos applies because it is Shabbos. It is Shabbos. That's it. Because it is Shabbos, so wherever you go, it will be Shabbos. And it'll be Shabbos for everybody. Even the Rishoyim in Gehenim, they get hana from Shabbos. They get it's a day off. A day off from the punishments that they're getting. Shigam heim kalulim b'ma'aseh bereishis, because they're also part of creation. Aval hamatana shel Shabbos, the gift of Shabbos, nitna rak liYisrael shahayu avodim ba'eretz Mitzrayim. Only to Klal Yisrael because they were avodim. V'tam lazeh. What's the reason for this? Nibnei Shabbos nikras bris. Like we discussed just a few minutes ago, Shabbos is called this bris, this connection, this agreement. To make the Shabbos. That we should make the Shabbos as a connection from between us forever, between a Klal Yisrael and Kodesh Baruch Hu forever. It's not only a story, the way a Kodesh Baruch Hu created the world from nothing. This is a connection and a sign of love between a Kodesh Baruch Hu and those who are Shomer Shabbos. This is something that's very interesting. We don't have so much time right now to continue with this. As Hashem will have to, I know it's kind of sad that we're going to have to wait a couple of weeks in order to, at least a couple of weeks to finish this. But the idea here when we finish up is that Shabbos is something that's extremely, extremely precious to our Kodesh Baruch Hu. Like we already discussed, Kodesh Baruch Hu himself comes in on Shabbos. He's the Chosan, like we discussed in Chelek Aleph. He's the one who changes all of Bereshis. He lifts up everything. Everything is different. All of creation is changed. It's something so special to our Kodesh Baruch Hu. So when you have something so special, what do you do with that? Do you just flaunt it for everybody to see? Some people do that. And when you do that, it becomes very shallow. If somebody has a beautiful diamond, very large, beautiful diamond, he's going to go flaunt it in the street? It'd be crazy. Crazy to do such a thing. Because you don't know who is going to see it. You don't know somebody's going to try to take advantage of it. Somebody's going to try to steal it from you. and people are going to be jealous, and they're going to hate you, and they're going to... You don't do that. If you have something that's so precious, you hide it. You take it out, special occasions, only with your close inner circle. That's what you do. Because it's choshev. And when I use choshev, I use it for a choshev time or a choshev place. So Kodesh Baruch Hu has such a precious thing, it's called Shabbos. And he wants to use it to connect to the one that he cares about more than anybody, more than anything else. And out of all of creation, what does the Kodesh Baruch Hu love? Kodesh Baruch Hu loves Klal Yisrael. Like we say every day, twice a day. Abba's Oilam, Abba Rabba. Kodesh Baruch Hu loves Klal Yisrael. So he wants to make that deeper connection. So how do you have it? I have something precious. I'm giving you a precious gift. Obviously the whole Torah. The whole Torah is a precious gift. But there's something special, different about Shabbos. And like we said, the Shomer Shabbos, this is how we know we're connected to Kodesh Baruch Hu, through Shabbos, more than anything else. Or maybe even the Tefillin and Bris Milah, right? We discussed that. These are the oisios, these are the signs of our connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But like we said, how do you know your person is a frum Jew? He's a Shomer Shabbos. That's how you know. He's a Shomer Shabbos. So this is something so precious and so special to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He wants to make that kesher. And therefore, only for Klal Yisrael. I'm giving this matana only for Klal Yisrael. So like we said, there are two parts. The first part, creation. Creation theoretically is shaykh to the whole world, except we know from the last parak that, you know what? They don't understand the Yesh Me'ayin. It might be shaykh to them, but they don't understand it. And therefore they can't connect to it. And in this parak, with something a little bit deeper, something a little bit more personal. And that is, there's a special kesher between us and Klal Yisrael. Between Klal Yisrael and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, we're going to have to stop over here. Bez Hashem, we'll pick it up in another couple weeks.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.